Hi y'all, this is Larry at Deep South, Texas, and today we're going to harvest our sweet potatoes. And here they are. This is just one 3-foot by 8-foot bed that we planted some time ago. And they've totally taken over the bed, come out into the pathway, even gone across the fence to the other side of the garden. So I think they're ready to come out. I've sort of been waiting for the rains to stop and for the bed to dry out a little bit. We've been having pop-up thunderstorms every afternoon for the last week or so. You know, just tropical storms down here. Not a lot of rain, but enough to make working in the garden a little difficult. Anyway, let's get started. Well, the first thing we're going to do is cut these vines back a little bit so I can get in around the bed and begin harvesting the sweet potatoes. So just clip them off. And get them out of the way. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to go back and take a look at a little bit of the history of these sweet potatoes from when we first started them this year. So watch this. By the time you're done watching, then I'll be done with this little task. And here are the sweet potatoes we will be planting. These were from what we harvested last fall, and some of them are starting to grow some shoots on them, and we're going to get them in the ground. Now, we're not planting these to grow sweet potatoes here. We're planting these sweet potatoes to grow slips, and we'll harvest those slips in 6 or 7 weeks and plant those slips in the ground to grow the sweet potatoes. So we're going to take these sweet potatoes and bury them about 4 inches into the ground. So I thought I would be planting my sweet potato slips this week, but I think I'm going to wait for another week, see if we'll get a few more slips to grow before I plant that bed. So here is where I'm growing my sweet potato slips, and it looks like I've got plenty now. And beyond these, I found 3 others in some of the other garden beds that are growing, either from potatoes that I missed last year or little potatoes that came out of the compost. So we're going to get these planted. I did get my sweet potato slips planted. I think they were a little bit larger than the slips I planted last year, so I think they're going to suffer a little bit more in the heat until they get started. But they're in. Glad to see that. The sweet potatoes I planted 2 weeks ago are doing great. I thought they would really suffer because they were somewhat larger than the slips I planted the year before. But they've taken off. They haven't suffered in the heat at all. The sweet potatoes are growing well, but they did get attacked by some insects since the last update. So I think that they're outgrowing the damage, but there is quite a bit of damage to the leaves. I think we're going to be okay. And the sweet potatoes, they don't have a problem with this hot weather either. They're growing well. I haven't seen any flowers yet though. Okay, we're back to today, which happens to be September 18th, and As you can see, we did a real good job of growing sweet potato vines this year. Have an overflowing wheelbarrow full of them. But how did we do on growing sweet potatoes? Well, let's find out. So let's dig one up and see what we have. Well, that's not looking good. Well, no sweet potatoes at all so far. I wasn't expecting that. Well, there's one small one. I don't think it's going to be a great harvest this year. Let me try digging up the rest of these and see what we come up with. Well, after a couple hours work in the hot sun, we have our sweet potatoes dug up. Let's take a look. And here they are. They're kind of small, and there aren't very many of them. So, a pretty tough year for sweet potatoes here at Deep South Texas. We'll have to take a step back and rethink how we plant these. See if we can do better next year. So, what happened? Well, we had that insect infestation early on. I thought that the sweet potatoes had recovered from that pretty well, but maybe not. Or maybe it was just the hot weather that we had this year. We'll be looking for a better year next year, that's for sure. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.